ask away.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
How you doing, Jason?
Doing. I deserve this.
Yes.
I deserve this hanging outside.
So we're live on my back deck, a couple of cigars. I'm drinking beer because I only have to walk 10 feet, and Jason's drinking water because,
I have to drive 10 feet.
yeah, he's got to drive.
I gotta drive.
Yeah. It's been one of those weeks. How's things going?
Did you see that new Black Series?
Yes.
The Cantina Bar?
Yeah, I was like, repacks, and then I re-looked at it, and I'm like, no,
No.
it's only been.
I think only Obi-Wan is repacked. The rest look incredible.
I got to give it to him for this time. It's no repacks.
What'd you think about the Filoni one?
I understand it, but it's... I've been waiting for a Cobb Vance for a year.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for whatever, the Kara Singh or whatever her name is, the bounty hunter, for a year. And we're getting a Dave Filoni one. Now, granted, all they had to do was do a new head for him. You know, a head sculpt, but still. Yeah.
My reaction was, oh, that's cool, but that's silly.
At the same time.
At the same time, that's really silly. A Filoni figure. All they did was take the Luke body and throw... Because Filoni's not that tight.
Right.
He's a little bit looser, and he's got the dad bod, too.
Yeah, I have a feeling, like we've always talked, that Disney's got their locks on Hasbro because they will release Loki on Wednesday, and Friday or Monday we have a figure directly tied to that episode, whereas with Star Wars you have to wait a year before you get a figure from an episode.
Yep.
So Disney's got it, or Lucasfilm's got it. It's not Disney, it's Lucasfilm. Because of freaking... They don't like it. I don't know. It's... Whatever. You kind of gotta get over it. But I thought the Emperor was cool. I think the Emperor is going to be like $40. I saw pricing.
Yeah, 31, 36, something like that.
And then Dave Filoni's going to be like in the $25,
26.
Okay. Which is he's a quote unquote deluxe figure.
Yes. He's a deluxe figure, which makes me wonder, is he going to get his own box? Like his own figure in the line? Kind of like what they did with Cad Bane and the Armorer, because they had the deluxe box, but then they came out as a normal.
Oh.
I'm like, are they going to do that with Trapper Fox?
They might, but why? Why do that? Unless they want to make more money.
It's Filoni, and he's got a certain clout in the Lucasfilm world now, the Star Wars world.
And I wonder if it was like, hey guys, I want a figure. He said, we got you, dude.
Yeah. So you got George Lucas and a Stormtrooper, and Filoni as an X-Wing pilot.
You also have George Lucas as an X-Wing pilot, but I don't think it's as popular as the Stormtrooper one.
Jorog Fog, or whatever it was. George Lucas backwards. Sulak.
That was the only real news. I mean, Hallmark's releasing all their ornaments next week, which I went and made a big bill at Hallmark.
Yeah, I got all the emails. Hey, don't you want... They even called me.
Dude, they always call me.
Like, just chill. It's just a freaking ornament in July.
But, yeah, I went and made my pre-orders. I think Mandy, yet again, gets more than me, because I didn't want that many of the... I've got her buying them, and now they're doing a bunch. She likes the birds, and they're doing a bunch of those for her, or whatever. But I've got to limit myself. I don't normally do like 3 or 4 a year, because, you know, at $20-$30 a pop, that gets real expensive real fast.
Yeah. I try to go the day after Christmas, but it's just always a crapshoot with that, too.
Right.
Because I swore last year that the child would be the hot one.
Mm-hmm.
And they had tons of children.
Right. Yes.
The
child's left over. I do have a funny story about the child. My daughter messaged me today and sent a picture. She took my grandson shopping for kindergarten, and if it had Baby Yoda on it, he got it. Baby Yoda backpack.
Awesome.
Sure, Baby Yoda. Pencil case.
If you're looking for the pulse of Star Wars, right now it's on Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
I wanted to ask you about the ghost.
Yes.
I didn't even realize, I completely forgot that my son had a ghost.
Yes.
And he won't sell it.
And he won't sell it.
In preparation of the last episode, I didn't bring it up, but he has the Black Pearl from Pirates. And he wanted to put it together because there's a new Sea of Thieves has a new theme. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. So he's like all into it. He's watching all the movies again. He's like, I want to put this back together. And he's putting it back together. But then he looked up on his own. Davy Jones is worth like $60-$70, that figure alone.
Wow.
Because I guess it only came with the Black Pearl.
Right. Well, that's like Zeb. He only came with the ghost.
Yeah. So he's got Zeb too. But I wanted to ask if you were are you considering trying to find the ghost, or would you consider building that custom one that he was talking about?
I guess it would depend on money. I would like to have the original, but I mean, if I can get the custom one that looks better, because I did look it up. He did message me later with the link to it, and it is it's huge. It's about double the size, and it's a cool looking figure, cool looking set. But I guess it all is money, and if I could ever find a ghost.
Yeah.
But it's one of those I'll cross that bridge when I get to it type things.
I was telling my son about that whole thing with the custom ghost, and I'm like, would you want to build a custom ghost, or would you want to build the regular one? He's like, I have the regular one. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you helped me build it. I'm like, what?
And then you message me, and I'm like, dude, if he ever wants to sell it, he's like, no.
No. He loves Rebels to the point where he loved this past episode of Bad Batch.
Oh my god, dude.
Spoilers for Bad Batch.
We're going to talk Bad Batch now. That... I had it spoiled a little bit for me because somebody did say, if you love Rebels, you'll love this Bad Batch. So I'm like, all right, where they're going with it. And I'm kind of glad it spoiled it a little bit, because then as soon as they were on Hera, I saw, they open it up and it's on Hera's home planet. And their so I was like, oh, okay, cool, it'll involve Hera. And then she's not there. And she's doing something. And then the next thing, they do their thing, and then the first shot of Hera, she's on a thing, and then you see the sensor scope pop up, and you're like, that's not him. And then he pops up, and there's Chopper, and of course you want to add this for the B-roll of Glenn crying. Seeing Chopper again, man, because that... And then, just to add to the storytelling of Dave Filoni, how awesome a storyteller was, I'm in my head going, wait a minute, should she have Chopper yet? Did Clone where and everything happening? Is it too? Are they redoing it? What And you're doing the math in your head, and then they're in the courtyard, and there's the Y-wing, and you're like, no, he did it right, and he didn't even mention it.
No.
And I don't, the people that don't know, she got Chopper from a crashed Y-wing from the Clone Wars. So it just, everything fit together so perfectly. And yeah, it was the first show that I had the time, and as soon as it was over, I hit repeat. Just so I could see it one more time and let my head wrap around it. Because I truthfully, I think with Bad Kane, whatever that dude, Bad Kane, I keep getting it, I want to call him Cad Bane.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to make it, to me it's backwards. With him showing back up, and now with them reintroducing Hera and Chopper, I think they're just prepping everybody for Book of Boba Fett, and now the Ahsoka show with Chopper and Hera showing back up.
Yeah.
Which,
Sure everybody knows these characters again. It was an interesting episode because we were on, what's the planet called? They said it. It slipped in my mind. People are yelling in their car. Well, yell louder because they can't hear you.
Right.
But where's I going with this?
Well, we're on
trying,
her home.
No, yeah, home planet.
Right.
I'm trying to remember where I was going. But the Bad Batch didn't show up until like 20 minutes, 15 minutes into the show, and I'm like, what is this?
Right.
This isn't the Bad Batch. It's typically we follow around the Bad Batch. And so this is setting up some sort of world building. I don't know if it's for the conclusion of the show, if that's where they're going or what, but yeah, I put my hands in the air when like I saw that sensor scope pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even click that I could be seeing Chopper. Someone had posted, and just, can we just stop posting images on Facebook when you see something? Can we wait 24 hours because someone did post Hera next to Omega, and I'm like, come on. Some of us have to work.
Yeah, well, Bad Batch hasn't really had a whole lot of spoilers. I mean, people hadn't been spoiling it, I think, until this episode.
Yeah. Because
this is the first episode where you're like, oh, crap.
Well, Cad Bane was a spoiler.
And you got spoiled because I had made a comment in a spoiler thread, and you saw it.
Freaking Facebook. It was like, it shows one or two comments on a thread, and it was Cad Bane. I'm like, great. There's that one.
But, I mean, I thought it was a good way of, you get to see why Hera and her dad have this strained relationship, and, I guess what's eventually is going to happen to her mom. And I've said it before, I've said it in another post, but if they show her getting the ghost in Bad Batch, I really am going to lose my crap. Because that, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, because now we've kind of left all the characters that we saw in this past episode, so do they follow Chopper and Hera, and how does they fold into the Bad Batch? It also brings up questions, like, we don't see any of these characters in Rebels.
Right.
So do they sacrifice themselves so Hera could take off? Like, I don't know.
Wow. Well, you've got, 5? This is episode 11, so there's 5 more episodes.
Yep.
So how big of an arc will the Hera Chopper, how big of an arc will that be?
Right.
Because she doesn't meet Kanan till several years later, because that's in A New Dawn, which is a great book if you guys are Rebels fans. Go read it, because it's how they met, Kanan and Hera met. And Chopper's not in that book, which I kind of find a little bit weird, or I just never understood why Chopper at least didn't show up towards the end of the book. But yeah, I'm curious, and I really, is it going to be, they have to come back, because they left it on a cliffhanger, so they have to come back and finish this story. And I will be upset if it's not next week. But I'm also, if this is what if they're prepping us for the Ahsoka show, if they do this for the Ahsoka show, just give me 2 or 3 episodes and close up the Rebels arc, I'd be happy. But, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But there's Dave Filoni being just a freaking master storyteller. What was your thoughts?
I liked the episode. I'm just a completionist. So if you have a show called The Bad Batch, I expect to follow around the Bad Batch. Mm-hmm. It's not like Clone Wars where we're just talking about the entire Clone Wars. It just was weird to me that they showed up, like I said, mid-season, mid-episode, and I don't know.
Unless it was just sort of their way of...
It was exciting. It was nice to watch that. Mm-hmm. It's good to see those characters again. Nice Hera. Nice young Hera. And there, I think, of course, Disney Plus kind of closes down the window so you don't see the credits. They want to keep you. So instead of turning off your TV, they just cut to something new. And I wanted to see the end credits. I didn't go back, but there was one character who was a hologram, and I'm pretty sure that was Vanessa Marshall doing a French accent, who does the voice of Hera in Rebels. So I think she did make a cameo, but not as Hera. I think she was someone else, because I recognized the voice. I didn't go back and confirm it, but...
Yeah, because she had a thick accent.
Yeah.
I
think that was her.
Yeah. I was happy. That was the first episode that I was like, now this show's... I mean, it was getting good when Cad Bane showed up, but now that Hera's showing up, and now that there's an opportunity to reintroduce people to Rebels, I think it's even better. Because people, one guy asked me today at the toy show, why Rebels? And I'm like, dude, it caught me at the right time. It caught me when I was hungry for Star Wars, and it just hooked me from pretty much the get-go. Because I watched Rebels just because, you know, it was Star Wars, and then you're watching TIE fighters chase people, and you hear the engines, and you hear the blasters, and it was all the sounds. And speaking of sounds, that episode, because every time Hera would show up and she's getting deep in thought, they playing her theme.
Yep.
And it's just...
That's one thing I thought was pretty well done, was her dreaming of flying and how she would just daydream about flying, and she really loves being a pilot, and I think that was well illustrated in this episode.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
It was such a good episode. But yeah, I mean, they have to come back. They can't leave that hanging. I'm curious if they're going to do it, like you said, either next week or are they going to close the season with it. And how do we know how many seasons Bad Batch is?
No, they've only have the one season with 16 episodes so far. But we'll see what happens.
Right.
And then speaking of Book of Boba, Jon Favreau, Robert Rodriguez, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Dave Filoni are all directing episodes of the Book of Boba. And I think they are stellar directors. So at least we have 5 episodes. I was expecting 3 for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Right.
But we have at least, 4 episodes.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I would expect it to be 6 or 7, maybe 8. 8 seems to be a good round number for, short seasons like that. But I've also heard that they were talking that, is it Roger?
Rodriguez?
Yeah, Rodriguez. Well, excuse me. He said that it's going to be grittier than The Mandalorian, which I'm looking forward to.
And Tamora Morrison was saying that it's really a buddy show with Fennec Shand. The 2 of them are together. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm looking forward to that part of it. I am looking forward to, like, the flashbacks. I want to see what happens in the Sarlacc pit. Let's see how he gets out. Let's see how he ties into Cobb Vanth. Let's see, let's see the backstory of it. What happened to Fett over those, 5 years?
Yep, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they were saying 5 years after the Battle of Yavin, which would be 2 years maybe after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because it was when Ahsoka, we were talking 5 years for the whole Rebels and Ahsoka epilogue. And between the end of Rebels and the epilogue, and then Ahsoka showing up in Mandalorian, that was 5 years. So that's where I'm getting the 5 years from.
I also wanted to mention that Rebel Scum was sold to someone who runs Order 66 Toys. Mm-hmm. Runs a show on Facebook, a toy shop on Facebook, which was interesting because how is that going to get integrated? Is Rebel Scum going to be more of a toy selling site? Because before it was just like a general news and information library, photo library for all the action figures and stuff, and everything's moving to Facebook now. So, and people have left the Rebel Scum forums and they're onto these Facebook groups now, and everyone's got their tribe. If you're the Georgia Alliance, or if you're the Empire Group, or your California Group, or even the IC, whatever the case may be, everyone's got their tribe. So, I don't know. Does it matter?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Just a sign of the times. Things have changed.
Right.
We're all getting on. We're all getting older, and we're all moving on.
Right. Getting older. Jesus. Getting old sucks.
Yeah.
I did go to a toy show today. That was kind of fun. Seeing everybody again.
What'd you pick up?
I picked up some ornaments. Picked up 6 ornaments of just oddball stuff that I didn't really care about, but I got such a good deal I couldn't pass them up. And then just a cup, just a plastic Star Wars Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back plastic.
I like those
Coke
cups.
Yeah.
I want to make a cup like that. I have ideas. I'm trying to take a break from woodworking so I can work on some of these ideas, but my wife just loaded me up with the project. So.
What she got you working on?
It's an art project, but I knocked it out today because there was something I had to do. I had to make an Alabama A out of pallet wood for someone.
Go Bama.
You being facetious?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They told me it's different from the Atlanta Braves, because it's got a mullet on it. So that's how I knew I had the right one. Anyways, yeah. So I'm hoping to do more projects like cup making and patch making and Project McClunky. I finished my chairs. They turned out really well, but you can see the staples on the side. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to put like some rope around it, which will get further away from the look of the cantina chairs, but it'll help finish them off and look better, because right now you can see staples on the side, which I don't like.
Right, and I don't think people are going to care. They're not going to go, oh, I
You're
can
not gonna
see
that, no.
this isn't the right texture, and the cantina chairs didn't have rope and piping on it, and what are you doing?
Well, I had the choice of making it with pleather, but pleather cracks over time, and I don't really want to do upholstering, so I went with a suede. So
Nice.
It's not exact, but it works.
Yeah, I think they look good.
They look like the cantina chairs.
Right, that's all that matters. I mean, and you're going to use it for, like YouTube stuff. So I learned movie magic. It never looks the same when you see it in person.
It's all crap. As I'm making these chairs, I'm like, this is probably more care than they put into the cantina set. Mm-hmm. Probably just slap that thing together. Han Solo, Harrison Ford's like swaying in the chair because the screws are not tight enough. Greed almost fell through.
Yeah, I learned that by watching when they were shooting Ozarks up the road from me, that somebody, you see all these blue buildings and they're little teeny tiny, and you're like, what the hell are they doing? And then you see this shot and they're just out of frame. They're just background noise, and they're out of focus, and all you see is a blue blur, and you're like, that makes sense now.
Composition.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the toy show was cool. I saw a lot of people, a lot of the regulars were there. They had, I didn't see a whole lot of vintage. There was some vintage there, but it wasn't incredible. It's 3 or 4 comic book vendors, and they all seemed to have some good deals. A couple of guys I saw Blake and Justin buying up a whole ton of comic books, and they were just raving about the deals they were getting, because people were running like half-off specials on what they had.
What would you say were the top 3 toy lines you saw at the toy show?
Star Wars.
Modern?
Yeah, modern Star Wars. A few
like Black Series?
Yeah, you did see some people with some of the scalpers, that go in and buy everything, and then they set up at a toy show and sell it, which sucks. It's not good for. I think that's not good for anybody. Not good for the toy show. Not good for the retailers. What else did I see? Saw a couple of Back to the Future. Some of the NECA Back to the Future. Saw a couple of, not a whole lot of pop vendors, but people that had pops.
Funko.
Yeah, a little bit of Funko. But I really just focused on the Star Wars stuff. So I would say it was a good chunk of Star Wars, which was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Hot Wheels. They had a couple of Hot Wheels vendors there.
Oh.
Like open, old school, like die-cast vendors.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking for, I've been going to Walmart and Target the past couple of days because I'm not going to be able to go to the summer social next week because I'm going to this wedding. But my brother called me this week. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm staying with you from Sunday to Tuesday. Because he's coming from Miami. We're all going up to Grand Rapids, and he's got to pass through, so he's going to stay for a couple of days. And so my nephew's coming, and he likes all the Hot Wheel toys. So I've been going to the stores and trying to find the latest wave, and I know that there's a Mandalorian on a speeder bike because I have it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, do I give it to him? Do I keep it? I'm trying to find another one because I like to get him. He loves those Hot Wheel toys.
Yeah.
I have video of him like zooming around the toys on the floor and zoom, pew, 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 zoom. Like all that fun stuff that we did when we were kids. He's doing it, and it's just
That's
so fun
awesome.
to watch.
Oh, so that was your nephew that
was
did
my
that
nephew,
video?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love seeing that. I know I did. I sent you a picture of my grandson at Second Chance, and he was just like, "Oh my God, the toys!"
A kid in a candy store, except it's a toy store.
Yup, and he was just, He walked away with the little minion. He was like, I gotta find something. I gotta buy something. I'm like, no, dude, you don't have to buy anything. Just enjoy being in the store, in the shop. And he did walk away with a little thing. And dude, this is one thing that annoys me because he was watching. There's this guy called Randy's World and it's this kid. Have you seen it?
I've seen these boxes in Walmart. It's just this kid with his mouth wide open. Every single thing. And I'm like, who is this kid? Why does he have all these toys?
He has a YouTube channel with like 2 million subscribers.
That's insane.
And the majority of his crap is unboxing videos. And then him and his parents do like these crappy skits. And my grandson threw a fit for an hour wanting one of those damn toys. And all it is a unboxing video aimed at like 6-year-olds. And I looked it up just for grins and giggles to see, I'm like, dude, no. So I just looked them up, and they're like $50 toys. And I'm like, you're not getting a $50 toy just because. I'm like, he's like, Mom said I could have it for Christmas. I'm like, it's a $50 toy. It is a Christmas present, dude. It's not just hey, you're at Wampa's house, and, we're hanging out and having a good time, and you get to get a toy.
Well, whenever I see that stuff, it's at Walmart in the clearance section. So I don't understand the business model behind that whole line. I don't know. It's not Star Wars, so who cares? But I mean, it's just whatever.
Right. I was talking to people today at the store at the toy show today, and they were saying how Walmart is just weird because you'll have one Walmart that never gets stuff, and then you got the one Walmart that has it in for a day, and it goes to clearance. And what one guy's theory was, what he thinks happens is you have a scalper show up, and they buy the whole thing, and they buy all the figures, and then they take the display with them. So when they get the new wave in, they don't get a display. So people go, the toy guy's like, what am I going to do with this? And they're like, put it on the clearance rack. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all dependent on the store. Clearance is all dependent on the store. That's why you'll see some Walmarts with 90%, 70% off, and other ones there's just 10% off. It's just, Walmart's weird.
Yeah. Somebody in one of the pop groups posted that he had like a cart full of pops that they bought for $1 a piece on clearance. So that's Walmart. Yay.
Still not worth it for me.
No.
$1 for a pop.
They did have a lot of vintage collection stuff there today. Like
Did
the new
they?
wave, yeah.
The new stuff, though.
The new stuff.
Yeah, I saw the Walmart exclusives today at Walmart. They were pretty beat up. No Ewok, because that's the one that has a crease in it. I'm okay with the crease as it is, but if I could find one, exchange it and replace it, then I would.
Where's the crease at?
It's in the middle of the card. It's tough to find. You really have to angle it. It came in a padded envelope, so I'm surprised.
Oh, yours came in
mine,
like that.
Yeah,
okay.
mine did.
I thought you were talking about just in general.
No. Mine did. I also got my retro collection from Hasbro Toy Shop, which was making me nervous because those have been on the store shelves for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They got shipped from Entertainment Earth, a Big Bad Toy Store, and I'm like, why is it taking so long for the actual manufacturers to send out their toy?
Right.
But I got it.
Awesome. There was some retro stuff. The Cara Dune stuff was, somebody had the credit collection for like $50. The Cara Dune. And then somebody else had showed me a vintage collection of Cara Dune. They paid like $20 for, and I'm like,
It's not bad.
Nah.
I think the spike is over. I think it's all coming down. Things are settling, especially for that figure.
Right. People are over it. But yeah, they were talking about like there was a G.I. Joe that one guy had bought. He found it and he bought it just because people needed it, and like 3 days later, they're peg warmers. So that's the craziness of buying toys.
Modern collecting.
Yes.
It's a different world.
That's why I'm glad I don't do it. I buy what I like. I do want to get that Ewok for my wife, but I didn't buy it today. Probably should have, since they had them. They were only like $15.
That's not bad. I mean, it's only a couple bucks more.
Right.
You see it, you buy it.
I should have, but I was trying to take your advice and not buy any more crap for her because her birthday's...
That wasn't my advice. That was my advice for the toy show. My advice at the toy show is buy something for yourself.
Because I did spend a shit ton of money on her at that toy show.
Yeah, dude, what do you want? Get something for yourself. You're so picky, though.
I am.
You gotta save you were looking for the perfect golden diamond encrusted figure for yourself or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my problem. I've got too much crap, and I'm just waiting. I'm either waiting on the Back to the Future stuff, or I'm waiting to find a Bill and Ted item, or just something. And it's hard when you get to where you have everything, and you're into prototypes, or you're into the higher end stuff, and you make a couple of purchases a year versus a bunch of purchases. But yeah, I'm trying to think what. No, I haven't gotten anything in a minute, which kind of sucks. But I did, like I said last week during the Lego stuff, the Lego DeLorean I bought at Joe Fest was missing some pieces, so I was able to go on Lego.com and find them and order them. So I don't know when those. They're like, it may take 2 months for us to get you this. So we'll see what happens.
That was such a fun episode.
Yeah.
I had so many other questions I never got to. Storing Legos. How do you store them? Most people put them by color, then by size.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
I've seen his room, and I think it's color and size, and he's got tubs of every color. But yeah, we'll have him back on here in a few months and ask more questions, because he was a great interview.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yes, Matthew. It was a great interview.
Matthew.
Yeah. Is there a major topic we wanted to talk about this
I
week?
don't think so. We're just shooting the crap.
Yeah, we're out smoking cigars, and I'm drinking.
I'm not. I have water.
Yeah. So,
You already said that.
Yeah. What's
What's in this water that I forget that I've already said that?
What you're not going to be at the summer social,
I'm not.
which sucks.
I'm so sad.
It's going to be a fun time next week.
Sorry. I've moved on. I've gone through the stages of grief, and I'm accepting. I've accepted my lot in life, and it'll always be next time.
Yeah, I did. Was talking to my wife last week, and I was like, all right, these are my trips for 21 that I want to, or 22. These are my trips. We got a trip planned. There's a Mardi Gras parade. It's called Crew Chewbacca's. So it's a walking sci-fi parade. And we found a bed and breakfast that is on the parade route. So we booked that. So we're going to go down there for that. And then I want to make another trip to Galaxy's Edge. And then I'm like, I want to go to Celebration. And she's like, bye. So Celebration looks like it's getting more and more in the check mark.
Got that extra bed.
Yes.
I'm about ready to buy my tickets. Is it too soon to buy tickets for flights?
I don't know. Can you buy them this far out?
I could. I almost did.
Yeah.
But then I had trouble with my credit with the airlines, and so I had to raise hell, and they extended my COVID credit. So.
And this is from whatever. Oh, not American. What is it? American?
It's American. Yeah. I was trying not to say it because they did make it right, so I didn't want to complain. But and my cousin, I didn't even want to complain on Facebook because my cousin's a pilot for them. But yeah.
Well, I've also learned the power of complaining on Facebook, because a few years ago I got in a wreck, and the lady disappeared for 2 weeks. Nobody knew where she was. Her message didn't say, "Hey, I'm taking a 2-week vacation." Nothing. And she finally calls me, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll have your stuff ready, but I'm going on another vacation." So I complained on the website, and she stayed late the day before she left and finished my stuff, because I'm like, huh?
She made it right.
She made it right. They made it right.
To raise hell.
But I had to, and it wasn't even that much hell. They were like, "Hey, message me." They literally preempted me and were like, give me your information. And I had a phone call from the agent later that night with an offer. So instead of waiting 2 weeks, I went on Facebook and complained. And got what I wanted.
Got what you needed. Yeah, I don't know if it's better to fly into LAX, which is 40 minutes away from the convention, but there's also John Wayne. But the John Wayne airport, I would have to fly to Phoenix and have a 40-minute layover for the next flight. And I'm like, based on my experience going to Syracuse through DC, if it gets delayed, I need more than 40 minutes.
Yeah. And here's what irks me about Phoenix. They're not irks me, but I've gone to Phoenix, and now I'm realizing that that's where they shot Bill and Ted. And I was like, son of a gun.
San Dimas?
Yeah. I could have gone and seen all this, where they shot all of Bill and Ted in Phoenix, and I just didn't think about it. But yeah, if I get back there, ever get back to Phoenix, Arizona, I'm gonna have to go check all that out. But yeah, 40-minute layover is not enough time. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I know we've talked about it, and I've talked about it with another guy in the group, that if I do get to go, I'm only going to go to Celebration for 1 or 2 days. And then I got to go see California. Because I've never been.
California traffic, LA traffic intimidates me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm afraid, like, if I pick a day to do stuff, you know, maybe it's better just to rent a car for 5 days. I don't know, instead of Ubering, because I don't like Ubering.
Well, how far is the hotel from everything?
The hotel is like 15 minutes away. I can walk that. That's not a problem. But I don't know the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. Like California, who knows?
Right. Well, I know, like, because the convention center is right across the street from Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I yeah.
But this is like a couple blocks south.
Okay.
Looks like it'd be like a 15-20 minute walk, which I can do.
Yeah, that's no big deal. Especially if you got time, just start doing it. Put the time in now. Because it'll pay benefits. Because that's what I did with Disney. When I went to Disney like 6 months out, I started walking. And I wish I'd have kept it up. Because you need that stamina.
Yeah.
And you need it for celebration.
Oh, and pro tip, never buy sneakers and then go to Disney. Always break them in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to buy sneakers and go to Disney, give yourself a month to break those shoes in.
Yeah, because you do a lot of walking. It's 20, 30,000 steps. Same thing at Celebration. I think I was hitting 30 or 40,000 steps at Celebration. Because I know in Orlando it felt like I parked like a mile away. And you have to walk, and then you're walking in Celebration, and you're doing everything. I hope it happens. And then I have a feeling, because D23 is in Orlando this year, and it's always been in Anaheim, that's the big Disney convention. And so I'm curious if now they're going to bring Celebration to Orlando next time.
I hope so.
Yeah, which would be amazing.
I could do that in a weekend.
Yeah. And you don't have to say, I don't have to see Orlando, because I've seen Orlando. So
Yeah.
you could legitimately go and just spend time at Celebration.
Tons of hotels,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a tourist place. So yeah.
Have you been to California?
I have not. No, we went to Vegas for our honeymoon, and we decided we had a choice of going to see the Pacific Ocean or the Grand Canyons, and we tried to go see the Grand Canyon.
I don't blame you. Grand Canyon's amazing.
But when we got there, did I never tell you this story?
No.
So we rented a car. We decided to make a convertible. It was like late October. We had the top down. And we were driving. It's 4 hours from Vegas to the Grand Canyon. We're driving, and we start going up in elevation. It's getting cold. We see, snow on the ground, just a dusting, really. So we put the top up, and we keep going, and the snow gets deeper and deeper, and we get to the canyon. We get to the Grand Canyon National Park. It's $20 to get in. Nobody's taking any money. It's just like maybe 2 feet in snow. And we're like, what's going on? Why aren't they taking money? So we park. We get out of the car. We can't see more than 10 feet out in front of us because of the fog.
Oh, man.
We drove 4 hours to see the canyon. We couldn't see it because of fog.
Wow.
And literally 10 feet away. We could see a tree kind of down the canyon a little bit, and it was about 10 feet away. Couldn't see the base. We could see the top of it.
Wow.
So that's my Grand Canyon. Yeah, so maybe someday. But.
Yeah, it's we did that. We had gone to Arizona to see my dad. My dad lived out there. My dad and stepmom lived out there for a couple of years. And we flew out there to see him one year. And we did a day trip. Well, it was an overnight trip to the Grand Canyon. And we did Sonoma, if you go to Grand Canyon, you got to hit Sonoma, and it's cool because you're driving, instead of driving into it, you're driving through it, so you're looking up at all, whatever, it's not the Grand Canyon, but I guess, you're looking up at all the canyons and stuff, and it's...
Someday I'll do it.
I want to go back just because you don't appreciate it. You appreciate it, but you got to go see it a second time to really appreciate it and take it all in.
I was thinking about possible rides at Galaxy's Edge. The only other thing I came up with is some sort of walking tour of I know Disney wouldn't do a zoo. Maybe some sort of what do you call those reserves where they have animals.
Mm-hmm.
So you can walk through, and there's like a quote live dewback, or maybe a live bantha, and other creatures from around the galaxy. You can just walk through it. And I don't know if that's exciting, but it would still be cool to be like, hey, I'm in front of a bantha.
That would be awesome. Because there was actually the
walking ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, the walking creature, whatever it was.
That was going to be a bantha or something. That would have been cool.
I don't know. I think they're going to get to an expansion, possibly at another park. They'll get to that point where they need to compete with Universal, because it just seems like everything Disney's doing these days is in reaction to what Universal's doing. Paid fast passes. I mean, ever since Butterbeer came around, Disney's like, what do we do?
Right.
How do we keep up? And it's like, you guys are leading the pack. Recognize that. If you start looking at Universal, people are going to be like, well, Universal's leading the pack now.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're building this new park, so Disney's going to be like, well, we got to build a new park.
Yeah.
So build Tatooine.
Yeah, do it.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that they want to do like a villains theme park.
That rumor is like 20 years old.
Oh, okay, well, never mind then.
The rumor was that they wanted to do something like Islands of Adventure, which is more for teens. So this villain park would be roller coasters and more exciting stuff rather than the dark, slow rides and boat rides.
Mm-hmm.
But then Disney's like, well, we don't want to do that because we're leaving out the little kids.
Right.
Parents are going to come to this park. They're going to say, my child is too small to ride this roller coaster. My child's too small to ride this and that. So what was the point? I want my money back. And that's not a scenario Disney wants.
Right. Disney just wants your money. They want to keep it. And everybody's struggling, but yeah. Well, you look at what Universal's always kind of been, it feels like it's more of a teenage park or more an adventurous park than Disney was. And I've had, last time I went to Universal was Black Friday, and they had all the characters out, roaming the park, and it was, to me, that was awesome. I had, it made my day, and it was only like a half an hour out of my day. But they had all the characters set up, and they had the whole Scooby-Doo gang. They had Beetlejuice, and they had Doc Brown running around, and that made my day, getting to hang out with Doc Brown.
So here's a topic. Five favorite things. We don't have to rank them.
All right.
From Galaxy's Edge.
Number one, well...
You don't have to rank them.
We don't rank them. It's top of my head would be Savvy's, Oga's... Well,
but you gotta tell why.
Okay, Savvy's, just because Savvy's lightsaber is just... They did it right. Yes, it's now $220, but I can justify spending that $220 because you're walking out with the lightsaber, with the blade.
With an experience.
Yes.
The experience is part of the experience.
Right, yeah.
I mean...
Well, I was getting to the experience,
yeah.
but I got to justify the money first. Then
yeah.
you got the experience, because you're getting a pin, which is probably a $15 or $20 pin. You're getting the lightsaber, which to me is about $100, maybe $100. I don't think it's the build quality of the lightsabers you get at docks. But you're getting the lightsaber. So let's say it's a $100 lightsaber. The blade's another $50, because that's what they charge at docks. So you're at $150, $170 with the pin. And then you get the sheath, which they don't have to give you the sheath. That's another $20, $30.
Yeah. Which is the cheapest sheath. Don't put trust into that thing, because the thing will tear.
Mm-hmm. It's literally made to get you home. You don't walk. You put it on your back, and it may. If you get through the park day with it, you did good.
Yeah.
Because it's made cheap. It's basically a pool noodle pool. It's the beer and cigar talking. It's a pool noodle inside of like some cheap material, mesh almost material, and yeah, it's made to make it home. And then you've got the 20-minute experience, which to me, a 20-minute experience at Disney World that you pay for, you're going to pay $50 for that, if not more. And it's just it's right where it's perfect. You've got the. I don't want to spoil it, but they did a great job theming it. They did. If you get a good cast member that's leading the experience, it's awesome. The only thing that kind of got me out of the whole thing is right when they open it up to build your lightsaber. There's like 5 or 6 gatherers in there, and they all quote the same thing. and that got me out of the experience for a minute.
Yeah.
But you got to bring yourself back into it real
right.
fast, and you got to take your time because they will. It's just like with the droid building, they'll rush you through it. But if you're just like, no, I'm going to take my time, they have no choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, number one is Savvy, or right off the top of the bat is Savvy's. Do you want to go, or you want me to just list them all?
I can go.
Yeah, go.
But to add to that, when you're going to Savvy's, they break you up in group, and then they give your group a card, similar to the Smuggler's Run card.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife saw that on Facebook. She said, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's the card they give you at Savvy's." Well, why aren't you making that? I'm like, come on, don't. Yeah, eventually, but the Smuggler Run cards just broke me. That was a year-long process. I'm not ready to make other cards. Maybe I'll do a limited run, but...
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I'm going to go with seeing the Falcon for the first time. That was... Holy crap. A full-size Falcon. You know, you feel weak in the knees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's there. It lights up. The engines blast every so often. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, you can make it smoke with the Play app. You can do stuff, make it do stuff.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it because I've been so, like, there's so much to see at Galaxy's Edge, but there's a hidden Falcon on the Falcon.
All right. You didn't see it?
I haven't seen it yet. I know where it is.
Okay.
I thought there was like 20 hidden Falcons or 5 hidden Falcons throughout the land. But, yeah.
Budget cuts, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
They couldn't afford a $50 Falcon.
Fake resin Falcon.
Right.
But that would be my number one.
Yeah, that was
First thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I have to echo that. Seeing the Falcon for the first time, because you do round the corner, and I knew it was coming, or I didn't know it, because you get out of Ronto Roasters, and you round the corner right by Doc Ondor's, and right when you get around the corner, you just catch a glimpse of the Falcon. And my wife actually has a picture of me seeing just that glimpse of the Falcon, and it just stops you in your tracks.
Yeah.
Tears are flowing. I've got sunglasses on, but you can tell it. Tears are flowing. Because it just, yeah, it's the first time they have never made a 1-to-1 Falcon. Complete 1-to-1 Falcon.
And they say that's the definitive Falcon. But I'm like, what else are they going to use it for now? The Skywalker saga's over.
Right.
So, like, what more media are they going to use for that? But anyways.
I think that whole experience with the Falcon and with the Smuggler's Run and going into the room and the theming of that whole ride. The ride itself sucks. But, I mean, if you compare one to the other, because if you get somebody that don't know what they're doing as a pilot, it ruins your experience.
Yeah, Disney's weird about... They have these digital, for lack of a better word, video games. Like the Smuggler's Run and the Toy Story Midway Mania. Mm-hmm. And the whole appeal to this thing was that they could do quick and easy overlays.
Right.
So Christmas time, they can have some sort of Christmas-themed Toy Story game. And Halloween time, they never did that.
Right.
It's almost like the ride's done, we're moving on to the next thing. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen with the Smuggler's Run ride. Is they were pitching, we're going to have 3 different rides. You never know what's going to happen or which ride you're going to get. And we're 2 years into it now. Granted, there was a pandemic which slowed everything down and shifted all the focus for Disney, but I don't think we're ever going to get the other rides that they said we were going to get, the other different overlays.
That kind of was to me the bad part about it. Was a blessing and a curse with Smuggler's Run because you could once you've rode it a few times, you know what's coming up, and then you still forget what's coming up in it.
What's your next one?
I'd have to say Doc's. If I'm gonna, it would be Savvy. Yeah, we already said the Falcon, so it would be Doc's just because of the Easter eggs in that place. Everything's expensive in there, but you go in there and you find some cool stuff. They've got the Yoda light. There's stuff that you can't find anywhere else in the world except for in there. And now, since the pandemic, they opened it up and started putting it in Disney Springs, so you can get the stuff there now, which I don't blame Disney for because they got to make money.
Yeah.
They can't open the park, but they can open Disney Springs,
right.
And you can go buy it. But it's just full of Easter eggs. That whole place is. You go in there and you could spend an hour just looking at all the walls, and you can mess with Doc, which apparently if you yell at him and tell him there's a bug, he doesn't like that, and he'll react to you. And I did get him to jump up one time, and it did kind of, when they were doing the concept art of it, they had said that you could deal with Doc and try making deals with him, and you can't.
I thought you could buy anything on the wall, like. Yeah, the blue sky thinking has kind of crashed, and now it's just this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with the cantina itself, Olga's. I love seeing Rex up there, being reprogrammed, and how he, like, I've mentioned this before, how he turns into Star Tours mode every so often, and how they have like more Figure and Dan music, and just the whole experience of that bar is pretty fun.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about Olga's is every time I went in there it was like $50, because you know I was with my wife, and you each buy two drinks, because that's your max, and they're $15 a piece, so you're at $50 if you buy two drinks, and but it's cool. I love Olga's was great. The only thing I don't like is you can't walk around.
Yeah.
You know, they've set you, but you know they got to crowd control. So once you sit down, you're there. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
When I did extra magic hours that one time, I just walked into Olga's and just sat there and ordered a coffee because I wanted a coffee, and they wouldn't give me a refill. It's like a $4 coffee, and you're not going to give me a refill. You're charging me $4 for something that cost you 20 cents, and you're not going to give me a refill.
It's no different than Starbucks, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Starbucks don't do it either. But yeah, Ogre's is cool. What else? I haven't seen Rise, so I can't say anything. I can't quote Rise.
I would do that as one of mine. So that'd be 3 for me. But Rise of Resistance is a pretty incredible ride when it's working.
Yeah. My daughter did send me a thing. She's like, they're getting rid of the virtual queue, and then you read, and it's like VIP tours starting tomorrow, which is the 11th. If you do a VIP tour, they'll let you on Rise, but then you realize a VIP tour is like $400 an hour.
Yeah.
Gosh. So what would be my next? I did like Docking Bay 7. That was cool. Have you been where you can go inside and sit and eat?
I don't think I've been in there, no.
Okay.
Is that about it?
That's about it. I mean, truthfully, and then there's also Docking Bay 7's cool because it's set up like a docking bay, and you're sitting in there, and it's themed to be like a truck stop type thing, but it's for ships. So you're in there, and there's ships taking off around you and stuff, and the theming in there is pretty cool because they do have the like ice buckets full of fish and stuff hanging on the wall, and the crates all over the place. You're sitting on a crate when you eat. The food there is all right, but then I went to the ABC commissary, and I'm like, it's the same food. They just themed it for Star Wars.
So what I'm sensing from this conversation, and I think I'm realizing, Galaxy's Edge is good, not great.
Yes.
Could have been great if they had gone through with what they said.
Right. And I've been going back to Harry Potter World. HBO Max, and I didn't realize that they put the Harry Potter movies. So I've been to Harry Potter World twice and had no reference to it. And I'm like, this is cool, but I don't get any of the references. So I watched the first 3 Harry Potter movies, and now they're not on HBO Max because I guess it was only on there for June. And I thought they'd be on there forever, or at least for longer. So I didn't, if I'd have known it was only for June, I would have pushed through and watched them all. And I'm like, okay, and I watched the first one, and Diagon Alley was on there for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, they made a whole theme park around Diagon Alley for something that's at the end of the movie for 10 minutes. Yep. And it was like, I'm getting the train, and I'm like, oh, now I know why you walk through the brick wall, and now, you're understanding everything now. And yeah, Universal beat you guys, Disney. Universal kicked your butt when it came to
you're so worried about what they're doing that you didn't do the right thing for your own park.
Mm-hmm. I really, harking back on our first episode together, was the fact that they offered you 1,000% of something, and they gave you like 500% of something.
That's right. That's one of our first episodes.
Yeah,
we're retreading, but we've kind of come around where I think it was pretty incredible in the first episode. The second one, we're like, well, second time around, well, maybe it's not as good as we thought.
You're right, but I still want to go back, and I love Disney, and I want to go back. Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. It did lose the appeal, because it was a working studio at one time, and they had the backlot tour, which is cool, and the Rock and Roller Coaster is all right. Toy Story World is good. Slinky Dog Dash, for what it is a really fun roller coaster. The Toy Story Mania is fun, but I rode Toy Story Mania once, and I was like, I'm done. I could ride it again, but I wanted to go ride Tower of Terror, so I went to see Tower of Terror.
So my son's getting to the point where he loves video games, and Midway Mania is a video game, and so now it's a competition between us. And my arm hurts after Midway Mania because I am doing everything I can to score points. Because you have to pull a string.
Right.
So you're just pull, and your arm will hurt. Your fingers will hurt because there's a little ball that you have to kind of pinch between your fingers with rope, and you just pull that ball. So my hand's always hurting after that.
Yeah. But it's a cool ride. The thing, and going back to Midway Mania, you have control over what's happening around you, but they kind of force your hand at what you see, and they could have done something very similar to Smuggler's Run, I think, or the CMs could have been like, oh, there's a 5-year-old, pilot. I'm gonna hit a button, and the 5-year-old would think that they're driving, or oh, you really want to fly, just because they did the same thing with the gunners. If you don't want to do it, hit a button, and you can just sit and watch the ride.
Yeah.
And they should have done something like that with the pilots. But I thought, yeah. And the theming, there's so many Easter eggs throughout that whole park. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's worth going to just because there's so much stuff to see. There's crates all throughout the land of things, and things to see, weapons, and there's Boba Fett's backpacks in one of the things, and stuff from Endor is there. Like I said, Doc Ondor's got a freaking stuffed Wampa in there. And yeah, it was a bummer, but I did spend 4 days. We were there for a week, and I spent 4 days in Galaxy's Edge when I was there, just to get it all. And I wish I would have kind of taken a step back and just enjoyed it while I was and looking at everything. And it's like everywhere you turn, there's stuff to see, which is cool with Galaxy's Edge. But it's to me, it's like 4 hours and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 hours is good enough for Galaxy's Edge. That's a good evening. It's beautiful at night.
Oh my God.
But, yeah.
And it's cool because you can, if you're at the Falcon when they do in Disneyland, it's better because the fireworks go off behind the Falcon versus Disney World where they go off in front of the Falcon. So you at least see you get to see the lights, but you don't get to see the fireworks. And I don't think they've done it to where people are walking around again. They're still doing the social distancing with the cast members. I think they could have done a better job with. Vi's fun, but who the hell's Vi? You don't know who she is unless you read the book.
Right.
And the book is good, but it's a 300-page advertisement for Galaxy's Edge, and it's like this. If they would have done what they did in the book, which I think the book was basically setting up Rise of the Resistance. As far as the caverns and stuff in Rise of the Resistance. But if they would have done stuff in the book, like done a back passageway, because you go in Harry Potter world, there's a back passageway, and you're in like the bad part of town, and they have a shop that's kind of dark, like the bad shop, the bad juju shop in Harry Potter world where you buy all the dark stuff. They could have done that real easy in Galaxy's Edge, and they didn't.
Yeah, there's so much they could have done, but I don't know. I'm complaining. It's a complaining episode.
Right.
We're not supposed to be that way.
No.
We're supposed to be positive.
Go to Galaxy's Edge. Don't go because we're complaining about it, but just know what you're getting into when you go, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I think what else is there to talk about that's not complaining? Boba Fett. Put Boba Fett into that land, but we're here, mid-July, almost mid-July.
Right.
September, October, we should start seeing a trailer for something in December.
Yeah.
We're only a couple months away from the launch of Book of Boba.
They're gonna have to take, and what they did with Galaxy's Edge is they put it canon in between 8 and 9.
They have to step that back.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. And being a Star Wars fan, because you take a step back, and I looked at my wife, and she was just like, I'm like, you realize we're canon right now, and she's like, what's canon? I'm like, we're in the Star Wars universe. We are basically canon. We are.
I am canon now.
Right.
I am Star Wars.
Right. You are Star Wars when you're in Galaxy's Edge, and she's just like, that's nice.
Did you ever hear the E.T. is a Jedi?
Mm-mm.
You never heard that E.T. Jedi theory?
Nuh-uh.
Because when he comes to Elliot, I mean, he pulls things up from the ground, just seemingly like he's mind over matter, which could be the Force.
Mm-hmm.
He appears in Episode 1
Mm-hmm.
in E.T. when he passes Yoda, the Force thing comes on and
Oh,
he says
yeah.
home, home. So E.T. knows Yoda, which means E.T. is a Star Wars story, which means somehow
Universal now owns Star Wars.
E.T. left the galaxy far, far away. That species has survived and is now in Earth kind of land. It's our galaxy, so it exists somewhere out there. I think that's what E.T.'s telling us.
Jeez.
You never thought about that?
No.
Because you know about the cameo in Episode 1, right?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because they're in the senator room.
The Senate scene.
Yeah. Have you ever rode the E.T. ride at Universal?
Yes.
That would be such a fun ride if I got high.
Well, when we were kids, I mean, we were good kids, so we didn't do anything bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our level of bad. So we're getting into the ride, and they ask you your name, and they give you a card. This is all before like Fast Pass, Magic Bands and stuff. And they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Jason," and my brother is Todd. "What's your name?" He goes, "George." I'm like, "Dude, you can't do that. It's not your name." And he's just like, "Shut up, shut up." So we get to the part where E.T.'s saying goodbye to everyone. "Bye, Jason. Bye, George." And we thought we thought it was so funny. We were so bad. That's our level of bad. We were good kids growing up. We didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and you ride that ride now, and it's like 20, 30 years old. However, it's the only ride left at Universal that was there when it opened.
Right.
And it's just so bad. It's like going to Monster. No, it's not called Monster Plantation anymore at Six Flags. What is it called now? I don't know. But whatever that Monster Plantation ride is it still
Monster Mansion?
Well, okay, Monster Mansion.
Still Monster Mansion.
Right, but it was called Monster Plantation.
Oh, they got rid of that.
They got rid of
the plantation word.
You're right. You thought they wanted to get rid of Slave 1 when Plantation was
Get
right
rid of
there
the
with
plantation.
it.
I love Monster Mansion.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the ride, there's a giant truck horn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is that supposed to scare me? As I'm exiting this ride, it's just a loud, annoying sound.
All right. Well, I went to...
And it smells old, it smells fungal, it smells woodsy. None of the technology works anymore. Six Flags is not investing any money. I love that ride.
Well, there was only one reason why you rode on Monster Plantation as a teenager with your girlfriend. It's a dark ride, and there's a reason to make out.
Yeah. I caught on. I guess you can't see my face on a podcast, but I caught on what you were going with that.
Right. And you are sitting right next to me.
I'm not kissing you.
No, you're not. Please don't. Aw. There is the kissing monster.
There is.
I haven't been to Six Flags in forever because I want to go to Universal because they got roller coasters and I want to ride those roller coasters, but I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could stand at the end of the day.
Yeah, the Batman ride, because we did this 2 years ago, the Batman ride was hurting my back.
Mm.
And, I mean, Six Flags doesn't have the greatest safety record.
Right.
There's one, the Goliath, where it's just like it's a very tall roller coaster, and it's just a lap bar that's securing you. And my daughter, who was 9 at the time, was tall enough, but it scared the crap out of me that she was just going to fly out of that seat because I know their safety record. And when you sit down and eat food at lunchtime, there's a message that comes on that says, "We have a great safety record here at Six Flags." I'm like, you need to tell me in your park that you got a great safety record. That is not reassuring me right now that you have a great safety record. I am afraid of my next ride.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law doesn't like Universal for that reason because my son works there, and she's like, these guys are working 10, 12-hour shifts that are working on the roller coasters, and they're working at night, and you know, it's just, you're working a 10 or 12-hour shift, so how much sleep are you really getting? And she's like, I just don't trust it.
No, it is scary. You were putting your faith into people.
But I gotta say that the Jurassic Park Velocicoaster looks amazing.
I haven't seen anything. I'm trying to stay clean on that one.
I've seen a ride through, and
The Fast and the Furious one.
oh my god!
Where Vin Diesel's like, I haven't read in it. I've seen video.
Mm-hmm.
Vin Diesel jumps off a car and he lands on a helicopter. But someone pointed out he is the same size as the helicopter. He's holding on to like the railing that's underneath the helicopter, and he is the same size as it. And it's like, no, come on, get a real helicopter.
Maybe there's a reason why that ride has like no weight.
Because nobody likes it.
Yeah. I did hear somebody on one of the podcasts that I listened to said that he rode that ride with a group of kids that had ridden it so much they knew it, and they were like talking along with the ride, and it made the ride better because these kids were
making fun of it.
Yeah, making fun of it.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Mm-mm.
It's all projection, and it's just.
But I mean, that's what also it's smart on Universal's part doing all that projection stuff because they can change that ride out real fast.
Put something else.
And they do have. I want to see that Jason Bourne. They've got a Jason Bourne stunt show that's supposed to be insane now. That you're apparently the audience is the camera, and it's either you don't move, but the action moves around you and stuff, and it's supposed to be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What else?
That's not Star Wars though.
It's not Star Wars.
But who cares? We're going on here. We're
yeah.
Plowing through this. I have that in the back of my head when we get off topic. Like it's not Star Wars, because there's podcasts where. Like the Office ladies, they do deep dive into things that are not related to The Office, and you're just like, I don't care about fruit flies, ladies. I want to know about the thought behind this episode.
Yes. We also like The Office too.
I do.
We haven't gotten on a tangent of The Office yet.
No.
And we haven't done a Back to the Future tangent yet either.
No.
Just because we haven't gotten there. It's not October 15th or October 5th, November 5th, 1955.
Is it November 5th or October 26th is Back to the Future Day?
Yeah, it's October.
November 5th is the day he goes back in time.
Right. It's October 25th, right?
October 26th is the day that 1985. Someone pointed out 1985 is just as far as 1955 was to 1985 today.
Right.
Which is insane.
Yes.
That if we were to travel back in time today, it would be 1985. That's weird.
Yes.
That's weird.
And then people will tell you see the memes because I graduated in '93 and people are like the '90s are 30 years ago. I'm like, no.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
I got back pain.
I hurt all the time, man. Got freaking just you wake up and you hurt. Got old people issues and it sucks.
Well, I got chest cavity issues where I can crack the ribs, and I think I dislocated it at one point. So I can crack my chest, but I also think I have some sort of arthritis because I get chest pains. But I can tell that it's like right here at my ribs. It's not anything underneath. But I always get paranoid. Is this a heart attack? Is this it? Is this the big one? No, just take some Aleve and you'll be fine, dude.
You're right. You know it's bad when you go to Celebration or you go to a con or you go to a theme park and you're on an aspirin regimen just to make it through
the day.
But I did that when we did Disney. You wake up, you pop a cup of aspirin, you pop a cup of aspirin at lunchtime, and you pop a cup of aspirin when you go to bed.
It's not good.
It's not, but it.
There's one ride at Six Flags here that is in the back of the park. It's a wooden roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like my spine was about to separate.
Yeah.
Please God, let me make it to the end of this ride because it just jerks you all over the place and the tracks are no longer. I mean, that's the thing with wooden roller coasters is they swell and they sweat and they move and expand and contract and they change so the wheels aren't exactly parallel anymore and the thing's rattling around and my back is hurting and I'm like, my God.
when I used, when I was 16, this was one of the good things about living 20 minutes or 45 minutes an hour from a theme park. When you're 16, you go buy a season pass, and you got nothing to do on a Tuesday. You wake up and go, and that roller coaster, they would run it backwards one summer or for a few weeks or whatever. And that was pretty cool, riding it backwards. But yeah, you just, how the hell did I do that?
We went to Whitewater 2 weeks ago
Uh-huh.
on a Sunday, and that was scary because no one was wearing masks. And I'm like, here in Georgia, 60% of this population is not vaccinated, and 100% of this population is not wearing a mask right now.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was close, everyone was in the water together. Who knows what viral organism is swimming around that water. So much in my mind that day. I left early. I did like 3 rides. I'm like, that's good enough. I'm out.
Yeah, I've never done Whitewater. I'm not a water park person. I don't like water parks. I think it's because you got to wear water shoes, or you're walking around barefoot and you're on concrete. It's just not fun. I do want to do Volcano Bay, which is Universal's, because apparently they did something. There's some kind of technology that there's no concrete, so everything cool. There's nothing that you won't burn your feet. They did something.
Yeah, it's a special concrete that they developed, which doesn't absorb heat, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It is a specialized thing that they. I think one of the Disney parks has it too.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard Beach, which is my favorite. Blizzard Beach is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
This is the theme park episode.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Theme park 101 or something.
Man, I loved when I lived in Orlando collecting all the Star Tour action figures. I thought that was so cool. This is before the Droid Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Matt was talking about it last week. He was collecting all of them. I've heard Jake Stevens, who runs Forlom to Zuckus, he would do the same thing, where he would just go in and buy all the protocol droids and all the astromech droids. But back in the day, Hasbro released Star Tours that looked exactly like the line they were releasing for the action figures. So I have all the Star Tours figures, and I love those.
I like Star Tours. That's a fun ride. I remember, back when in the 90s, that was all the Star Wars you had was Star Tours. That's all. You had to go to Florida to see it. And going into the, first time I walked into the gift shop, I was like,
Star Traders.
Yeah.
Tatooine Traders that's the bomb.
Yeah. They had to drag me out of there. My family was just like, dude, you've been in there for like 45 minutes. It's time to go.
I could spend another 45.
Right,
Leave me alone.
I'm not done, man. Look at all the Star Wars stuff. I haven't seen this much Star Wars stuff.
It used to be a walk-on ride, too. And now that Star Wars is popular again, it's not a walk-on ride. But there was a time before Disney bought Star Wars that I did that ride 3 times in a row. Started to get motion sickness, but it was every time you'd go on it, it'd be a different ride.
Yeah.
Now they've kind of locked in that it's very specific. You're usually going to get some sort of Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker thing. Sometimes you might get the whole scene in The Last Jedi when they're going through the crate and you got the red crystallized stuff. That was a nod to Star Tours when you go through the asteroid, and it was the comet. It was all the icicles. You would kind of go through the giant icicles.
Mm-hmm.
That was brought over to The Last Jedi, but it was red icicles, basically, red crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nod to Star Tours.
Nice. And did you notice on Smuggler's Run, there is the spaceship, whatever that ride is, whatever that ride vehicle is.
Star Speeder?
The Star Speeder is in Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
That is the one good thing Disney does, is they do give nods to a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of Easter eggs throughout that whole park. Everything Disney is.
Did you see that video over this past weekend of a carnival? I think it was up in Michigan, where they had that swinging pirate ship that kind of goes up. It goes down, it goes up and down, and it started to shake where it looked like it was about to tip over, and everybody started running to hold the ride down. And in the back of my mind, I can hear the carny going, "That's not my job. I just work here." I mean, no disrespect to people from the South, but it's not my job. Ma'am, I just work here. I just turn the ride on.
Well, there's something about a ride run by people who are missing teeth and have jailhouse tattoos that you just don't trust it. It's my sister-in-law met her ex-husband at a carnival. So she was a carny for a minute. My wife tells me stories about stuff, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Because apparently their rooms, they take 18-wheeler trailers and convert them into bedrooms, and that's how these people live. I'm like, yeah.
I'll go to Disney, thank you.
Yeah. I'll go to Disney where you have interns running the rides.
And the rides have been cemented into the ground. They've got their, what do they call them, pile drivers that go deep into the ground so that ride's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's not shaking. Gosh, it's so scary.
Yeah. But carnies were fun. It's been a minute since I've done that too.
I mean, no disrespect to people who work at carnivals.
Right.
But at the same time, I do.
Yeah, there's something weird about being on a ride that was on the back of an 18-wheeler the day before.
Yeah, just assembled that morning. Come on up. Is it supposed to be shaking like that? Yeah, we give it some play. It's meant to do that.
Right.
No, it's not. Just need to tighten those bolts over there and that one, and maybe that one, and this one.
The old fair, the carnival. Speaking of like roller coasters and stuff, there's a band Fozzy that their latest video, they were on a roller coaster, and apparently they rode the roller coaster like 6 or 7 times, and there's shots where you can just tell the band is not having fun because he's singing while he's on this roller coaster, and it just, you can look at him and you're like, they are not having fun on that roller coaster.
No. So excited about the summer social?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun. Those socials are always, we just step it up for those events, and we're doing a Friday night getting together, like a pregame Friday night, and then doing a Saturday is going to be just all freaking day. I think we're actually going to take separate cars so my wife can look at me and wave.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
See you in the morning.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be one of those.
You'll be exhausted. You're going to need a week to recover from the weekend.
That's like this weekend. It's been crazy because went to a concert last night, saw Mark Martel, who does Freddie Mercury, they did Queen for like 3 hours last night in downtown Woodstock. And then I did a toy show this morning, and now we're hanging out tonight, and then I got band practice tomorrow. And then next weekend, I've got the summer social. So my weekend, July, my wife was like, there's nothing going on in July. And I'm like, wait a minute.
No, recalibrate.
Yeah, July, we got a lot of crap going on. Because you're having a party at the end of the month, and it's my wife's birthday on the 24th. So July, our weekends are full.
My son, his birthday's on the 24th. He wanted a PlayStation just so he could play the Spider-Man game. I'm like, dude. When we ordered it at the beginning of the month, and I already gave it to him because I'm like, his birthday's the 24th, school starts August 2nd, he's going to high school, so I know he's going to be busy. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to give you your present early, just don't complete it in a week, because he's been known to buy a game, or get a game, and then 2 days later he's done.
Right.
So I bought the PlayStation, I bought the game, just extend it out, man. Don't beat it all in a week. And he's beaten it already. But it's one of those games, it's an open world game, so you can just fly around as Spider-Man and do other things. And it was a very expensive game, because I had to buy the system for it.
Yeah, and are those games like $70, $80?
This one was on sale, and it's also been out for a while. Target was running a sale, so I got it for $30.
Sorry, I have to reply to my stepmom.
And then the next episode is going to be a little bit different because of all this stuff that's going on, and I've already pre-recorded part of it. I got to finish it. Do you have any thoughts on Solo, a Star Wars story?
Yes. That was actually after I got. Hold on, let me glad. home.
So I'm doing a deep dive on
Deep dive.
Solo, the Star Wars story next week.
Hold on, where am I going? Solo, after I got used of not Han Solo
Being Harrison Ford.
it was a great movie. It took me about 10 minutes to get over that, and right next to it's a notch below Rogue One. And I think Rogue One just wins because you were going in there knowing you're not going to see anybody.
Yeah. Which is why I say in the Disney era, the best Star Wars stories are not ones that involve the Skywalkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to a guy today about it, and he's like, I don't like any of the prequels. And I'm like, I think they messed up on the prequels because they needed to either take Han, Luke, and Leia and put them in a corner somewhere and just not mention them once or twice.
You mean the sequels?
The sequels,
Yes.
yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the sequel trilogy. So they needed to take Skywalker characters and put them in a corner and maybe mention them, or make them the focus, not put them in the middle. And Disney puts them right in the middle, which to me just they didn't ruin it, but you were going expecting to see Han, Luke, and Leia, and you caught glimpses of them.
Well, JJ was saying every time he brought Luke into the script, the story was about the attention leaves Rey and Finn, and it's all about Luke. Which to me, I say, okay.
That's what we wanted.
That's what we want.
And part of me was like, because I read the EU, and Leia was a badass Jedi. And you finally, at Rise of Skywalker, see Leia you get a glimpse of the training. And you're like, yeah, she was a badass. And you know, those 5 minutes or whatever it was, that one scene was great. And it's like, that's what we wanted to see, even though we know Carrie Fisher couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they could have done more of an Obi-Wan thing with them being training a little bit more or something. I don't know what the right thing to do. You know, I hate to say recast them, but maybe recast them as younger guys if they couldn't have done the stunts or done stunts with them, or, you know, because I'm sure they could have done something, and, you know, Leia could have been a badass Jedi, just had somebody do the stunts. But I don't know what the right answer was. I really, truthfully think they should have gone and done the Thrawn trilogy as the sequel.
I had an appraiser come today because refinancing, and he's a Star Wars fan. He said the exact same thing. He was a little upset when they said something along the lines of, you know, we didn't have material like Marvel to pull from, and he's just like, you have all these books.
Yeah.
Pull from the books.
And Disney didn't want to do it. They wanted to start their own canon, which I understand because, you know, it did get to be a cluster when you have all that source material that you're having to cross-check. And as Star Wars fans, we're like, wait a minute, go back to this page 35, paragraph 3, word 5.
Like
it's
it's the Bible.
It's like, no, you're all right, man.
Don't forget Zahn, chapter 7, verse 3.
Right.
Thrawn.
Dude, I am still, man. I had to put the middle book of the Thrawn trilogy down because I got the High Republic book, and I'm digging that High Republic, man.
Good.
Yeah, it is some good storytelling.
Non-Skywalker stuff. They're doing great.
Yeah.
Although, one of my goals now is to get the Thrawn trilogy first print. You have that.
Yes.
But I want it.
And they're all autographed.
I have the Ghost Lego version, so
Yes.
take that. Shots fired. Blasters fired.
I don't know which I'd rather have. Because it's sitting on a shelf, and you can't really tell that they're autographed unless you dig them out and be like, hey, I've got these autographed.
Those books are so special.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we had.
You don't... Whew, you youngins don't know how lucky you are, because, you know, back in high school, we got made fun of for being Star Wars fans.
That's the other thing. Like, my son... My daughter had a friend up in Syracuse who came over, and she thought my son Harrison was so cool because he knew everything about Star Wars. I'm like, I would have been made fun of if I was outwardly saying, oh, well, you don't know anything about lightsabers. Lightsabers are pretty cool. You know, Luke's got a green one and a blue one, and Darth Vader's is red. Girls would be like, dude, get a life.
Right.
Today it's like, you're cute.
As my daughter-in-law tells a story of, my son used to be really into yo-yos, and he found all his old yo-yos and started doing tricks, and she's like, panty dropping.
Oh, we grew up too early.
We did.
Today would be kings of the high school.
Mm.
You should see my action figures, ladies. Come on over. I play with them too. Man, we used to like sneak. We were at the uncool table at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We would talk about Star Wars. We would talk about collecting, and we would play the card game, because that was big in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of those cards, but I never got into it where I have the massive collection. I was never really into the card games.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I like the board games more. But
I would like to get in the X-Wings. X-Wing miniature, that game, but I don't have enough people to play it.
My son and I played it, but we never invested into it, so we only had like 3 X-Wings and a couple TIE Fighters. We had the Ghost.
Of course you did.
We had the Phantom. We don't know what happened to the Phantom. It just disappeared one day from the table.
Wow.
And I was certain when we moved from Syracuse to here, we would find it when we moved something, and we never found the Phantom.
Mm.
It just, like a ghost, disappeared.
Wow. You sure it's not inside of your Ghost?
No, because it doesn't work like
Oh.
that. They're about the same size.
Oh.
About.
Wow. I was real tempted to buy that Ghost because it's one of the only Ghosts you can find.
That game, those models were amazing. They're very detailed, very well painted. The game is kind of fun. It's kind of tedious at times because you have to turn and you have to use cards to turn. Because they kind of give you measuring cards, like if you roll a 1, you can only move this far, and you have to be in range because the blasters only go so far. And it's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
I just never got into it.
They did I saw right here at Goodwill, they opened a gaming store right next to Goodwill. And I'm curious. They now talking it out, I'm like, I wonder if they play that there.
That's how comic books make their money. Comic books. That's how comic book stores make their money these days, is through the gaming.
Right. Because you always see the sweaty guys. What's that? Hold on. When we went to Noonan. There's a big gaming store, and they were having issues with the air conditioning. So, and then my wife, she had found this antique store, and she didn't realize that it was right next to the gaming store. Because I like going there because if you're going to make the trip, you kind of hit all the stores. And we were talking to the lady at the antique store, and she was like, "Do you ever get the air condition fixed next door?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Oh, can you imagine what that smells like?"
It's like when you go to the shoe store and you're wearing sandals, you want to try on shoes, they have the courtesy socks. These game stores need to have a courtesy deodorant.
Yeah.
Some Sure. I mean, that way you don't have to get it under the arm. All right, I'm Sure. Let's play the game. I'm here.
I felt really bad because they were, there's all these guys in there with the playing, and they have fans underneath the tables. I mean, they were trying to make it cool in there, but it was miserable. It was like that show I went to today about 2:00. It just got miserable in there because it was in a gym. And I mean, in the morning it felt great, but come about 2:00, it was like I'm gone, I'm done.
Start to see the fog of humidity kind of settle in.
And it was till 5, and I think everybody was like, "I gotta stay till 5," and I'm like, "I don't. Bye.
Later.
Y'all have fun."
I have air conditioning in the car. I'll be back.
Right.
Need to cool down a little bit.
I'm gonna pack up the fan table, and I'll see y'all later.
That was great about Toyland is that my car was there. So there was a time I went out for about an hour and just kind of chilled until I can't remember if it was the panel or what.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you just chill in the car for a little bit and then go back, regroup, and go back in.
Right. Did you see that they released ticket prices for IC?
No. They expensive?
Yes. Well, number one, the VIPs are $500.
Up from what, 300 last year?
Up from $300.
Oh.
And the tickets went from $40 to $60.
Yeah, I've decided to skip. I decided to skip IC, not outside of ticket prices, just because of its proximity to Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't be going to IC next year
Yeah.
because of that.
I'm thinking I'm going the same route that, even though it is only 3.5 hours up the road, that I may end up skipping it too. If everybody's skipping it, I guess I'll skip it too. So we'll see what happens with it. Because it's a month before Celebration. But Celebration's in Anaheim.
That's expensive. I mean, it's $1,000 just to get out there and stay in a hotel.
Right. And you need and if you want to have fun, and you need to have folded money when you go to Celebration, because you want to buy stuff. Because you're going to see stuff you're never going to see again.
Yep.
The joys of being a modern Star Wars collector. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Celebration is cool, but everything's overpriced, I think, when you're on the floor.
On the floor, yeah.
Because they're paying thousands of dollars for those booths, so they got to make their overhead back. They got to make their money back. The art show's cool because you get to see artists and meet artists that you've only seen online. The panels are cool, but the room sales are where it's at in Celebration, because people are bringing prototypes and stuff.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Yeah, I was looking at Celebration. I was like, man, if I had cash, I could finish my last 17 run at this show, and I couldn't.
The last one, right?
Yeah.
Because you finished that.
Yeah. This was because they had people had good deals at room sales.
And that was today's prices.
That was at 17.
Pre-pandemic.
Everything's gone up.
And I don't think it's ever coming down.
Mm-hmm. It may come down a little bit, but like
maybe regular figures, but carded figures they're. If you invest $1,000 into a figure, that's not going down to 500 anytime.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stay 1,000 or more.
Yeah, because
it's locked in.
Yeah, a pop-up R2, you're at like $500 or $600. I mean, hell, the Animaniman, just his staff's $150, and I paid $100 for a complete one. Back in the.
I might as well just get carded at that point. If you're going to go up to that level of collecting, why not just get a carded one for $500 more?
Right. Well, I was talking. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was talking to one of the guys today, and he had a 12-back Leia that he'd messed up the card because he tried getting some stuff, like some marker off of it, and he used acetane nail polish remover on it and ruined the card. I'm like, dude, I'll give you $100 for it. Just joking. He's like, no, at that point I'll just open it and sell the Leia for $150.
Yeah.
And I was joking, and I was like, I had to try it, man, because I want a 12-back Leia, and if I can get a 12-back Leia for, a couple of $100, why not?
Why not?
Because you're going to pay $200 just for the figure right now.
I don't think I could ever afford a mint, perfect carded anything without hitting 12 lotteries, so
yeah.
I'll take what I can get. And
yeah.
I'm not going to be a stickler where it needs to be a 12E or 12D, or I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know all the card backs like I should. But just as long as it's a Star Wars card and it's got the figure, I'd be happy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's sort of what my wife does. She's like, I don't care. And she figured out, because she's got 4 Ewoks that are carded, and she's like, because she's got the common ones carded, and she's like, which ones do I need now? And I'm like, they're all last 17s, babe. Have fun with that. And I've seen them for a couple of $100.
Godspeed, woman.
Yeah. I've seen one for like $200 on Deal or No Deal. I'm like, babe, you want it? No, not now. Like, it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. That's what a loose one's going for.
Yeah, if you see it, you got to get it. Otherwise, you're not.
Right.
If there's a deal, it's a reason why it's a deal. Get it.
Yeah.
Don't think.
No, that's the rule. And I've told her there's stuff that I can sell, but excuse me, I'm at that point where my credit card. I told her, I said, my credit card's got enough room on it. I'm just gonna buy it and pay. Sell what I need to pay for it once I buy it.
That cat is staring me down.
Yeah, he wants to come outside. That's Luke.
I'll start sneezing.
Oh. He's indoor-outdoor cat. He came in a couple of days ago after the rain, and he was just full of mud. He actually came in the other day, and my wife was like, "You smell like a candle. Where the hell have you been?" Like, she was like, "Were you in somebody's house?" But yeah, my cats are Luke and Leia. My dogs are Solo and Sabine. And my wife fought forever not to name my dog Solo, and she's like, "No Star Wars names," and we named him Solo.
Good luck, woman.
Yes.
You have all the cool action figures. I get the name of the animals.
Right. I should turn the lights on out here. I'll be right back. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier.
I bet you it's really relaxing to listen to the crickets chirping. And aren't we supposed to get cicadas this year?
I haven't seen any of them.
Any of them. I thought it would be like a plague, a biblical plague of these bugs on the roof and windows, and I haven't seen anything.
No, me neither. I've seen them, I guess 20 years ago or whatever, but I hadn't seen any this year.
I gotta finish that Solo episode tomorrow.
Yes. But yes, going back to Solo, I enjoyed it.
Sorry,
Kinda.
my brain's skipping because of
Cigar. And you're not even drinking.
no. Just a laid back episode. No
Yeah.
formalities. I had some notes and we've kind of hit some of that stuff, but I don't know. What other topics can we hit? Because we got to record not next week, but the following. I guess the following week will be a wrap up of the summer social.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, probably. My grass is going to be like 3 feet tall by the time I get to cut it. A couple of weeks ago, I went to cut it, and it started raining. I'm like, F it. Just going to keep going, and it stopped about 10 minutes in.
You have done that before, where I cut half the grass and I'm like, nah, it's too hot. Go inside, and then you got this uneven patch of grass. Half the grass is like 3 feet tall, and the other half is 6 inches.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I don't have an HOA out here, so they don't care.
That is a godsend. I
Yeah.
can't stand HOAs.
We had a HOA in our last neighborhood. We lived in like a matchstick neighborhood, and I had a work truck that I took home, and there was a spot on the street that we lived on that had, that it was like the side of a house, so they had enough room I could park my work truck on the street, and I get a note on it one day, and it just said, "You can't park here, official." And we're like, who the hell are you?
Official what?
Yeah, that's all it said.
Official jackass.
Yeah. And there was a little bitty driveway. Trying to fit 3 cars on it sucked. But they took care of the front yard. And the backyard only took me like 20 minutes to mow, which was nice. Versus here where it's like a 2-hour. By the time you mow and edge and blow, and it's a couple hours. Is there anything else you wanted to hit?
I don't think so. I didn't even know what to hit today.
I will say, man, doing it's a lot harder than I thought.
The weekly ones?
The weekly ones, but it's fun.
Yeah, we'll be doing some modern talk coming up, and we got to find people to talk about vintage stuff with, and collecting. And I just realized after doing that last week with we didn't intend to put it on YouTube, but that was cool. We have an official YouTube channel now that you can subscribe to. We hope to do more video stuff in the future, but I definitely want to do more interviews like that and talk to experts.
I got a couple of figures I want to open up so you can watch me and snicker and cry. I got a couple of my retro. I got the retro Boba, not retro Boba, retro Mando and retro the Child that I'm kind of holding on to do something special.
I do have a Mando vintage collection and a child vintage collection because I don't intend to open the things that come with the Razor Crest. So I'll do those unboxing on a podcast. So if you're listening, it's just going to be the crinkling of plastic.
Well, we'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah. I do want to get, I do want to get a second Cantina bar, just 50th anniversary convention exclusive Cantina bar that they just with Ponda Baba, and I want to get 2 of those so I can open one.
Mm-hmm. But they're like $150, dude.
They're 80.
80? That's
Yeah,
it? What
yeah.
was 150?
Yeah, the Emperor is $31.99.
Uh-huh.
The Cantina bar is $104,
Okay.
and the Filoni figure is $26.99.
Which, I guess with that Cantina bar, you're getting 3 figures, which are $20 a piece, 25. Now I think they've upped this money on them. And you're getting that Cantina.
And I'm wondering, are they going to finish the bar? The other thing that's weird about the promo photos they sent, the bar doesn't look right. Because they didn't stage it right. They kind of stage it so that there's 2 flat, like it's almost like half a square.
Mm.
And that's not the shape of the bar. The shape of the bar is like a U shape.
Right.
It's not square shape. Maybe that's something only I care about, but I do.
Right. Well, I am wondering. I'm looking at it right now, and I am wondering if they, with that announcement, if they're going to pair that with something else.
Is that the Black Series? Well, I thought maybe that's a candidate for the Black Series. HasLab.
Right.
It is 9:30 on a long. It's only Saturday, but it was a long weekend. We're supposed to go up to Rock City, but because of the situation I'm in, I'm not going anywhere. I got to stay close to home.
Oh, my cigar went out. Rock City's fun. We used to go. We had season passes. My mother-in-law would give us, at Christmas time, would give us experiences. So she bought us Rock City passes one year. We went a couple of times. It's cool. Have you been?
No, we haven't, but it looks like it's going to be raining tomorrow, so we wouldn't go anyways.
They did, we went one year at Christmas time, and it was like at night. They opened it up at night. And they had Christmas lights and stuff, and it was cool. But it was only like half of it was open. Because you can't see anything at night. As far as like the landscapes and stuff. We're going to finish our cigars. And I may open another beer. And you guys have a good week. And listen for the solo episode next week. I'm looking forward to hearing it because I want to hear what you say about Solo.
And I like to apologize to David Quinn because he did inspire this episode. And I did copy some of it, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, I think I think David thinks it is an homage, and he enjoys that, we copy him. And we do it out of love and respect, because he does have a hell of a podcast. He did the podcast he did about, it's like every time he goes to a show or does a show podcast, it's like, I want to go right now. I want to just keep driving and find a show and go to a toy show, just because his podcasts are just so inspiring. But anyway, that's enough.
That's enough.
We bored you enough. Y'all have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. This is the way.
This is the way.